Oh, good morning, folks. How y'all doing? How y'all doing this morning? This your boy Mike D, aka DDE8, aka 13 Wonder of the World. How y'all doing on this Tuesday morning? I hope y'all had a good night rest, a good day yesterday. I'm hoping y'all having a good day today on Tuesday. Looks like it's kind of cloudy outside. Looks like the sun might come out a little bit. I don't know yet. Had a little cold breeze outside this morning when I was getting home from the job. But so great to hear from y'all. God bless, God keep y'all. Shout out to the Point Place family. Shout out to Bobby Reezy. Shout out to M Breezy. Shout out to Naya. To my sister, I love all y'all. Thank y'all for joining me this morning on The Point of View. Not gonna be on here too long. Just want to recap some things. Iowa NCAA women's tournament. Caitlin Clarkman was able to shake back and win a game. Looked like the team they were playing tried to put up a fight, but in the end, Caitlin Clarkman was able to get past them. So they're going on to the Sweet 16, if I'm not mistaken, or the 32. I think it's the Sweet 16 as well. The Celtics, along with the Clippers, along with the Phoenix Suns, man, really? Man, what's going on with y'all, man? And I know for the Celtics, man, you guys were up 30 points. You blew a 30-point lead. The Phoenix Suns should have beaten the Spurs because Wemby was not playing. Bradley Beal said we overlooked them. Clippers lost to the Pacers. Now, don't get me wrong, the Pacers is one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference, but the Lakers just showed y'all how to beat them. The Lakers beat the Philadelphia 76ers without Joel Embiid, and you guys lost. And I know this is B.Ray's team, but I'm just shocked with that loss right there that they had last night, because I thought they was going to beat the Pacers. Halliburton has not been playing the same way he's been playing since All-Star break. He's been not shooting the ball well. He's been passing a lot. And he's only averaging, he usually have like 10 or 12 points in some of the games. But with Siakam there, they're able to do what they need to do. Now, I want to go to the Lakers before I go on wrestling. But back to the Clippers. I know the Clippers, they'll bounce back. They're waiting on Russell Westbrook to come back, because Russ off that bench can help them, get to where they need to get. I think they're one of the teams that can beat the Nuggets if they have somebody to stop Joker. That's their only problem. In my book, that's their only problem. That's our problem. We have no one that can stop Joker. AD plays hard against Joker. AD had 30. Joker went for 40. You see what I'm saying? That's the only problem that I see with beating Denver. But the Clippers have a chance because their three-head monster of Harden, Leonard, and George can possibly outscore Porter Jr., KCP, and Jamal Murray. So, if that's the lineup, or Aaron Gordon, or that's the lineup that I see happening when they do play against each other, they're gonna meet each other in the playoffs. That's just my thought, my theory. I just do know that for a fact. The Lakers have they're finna be on a 6-game road trip. They start the night in Milwaukee. That's possibly going to be a loss. I don't see the Lakers winning tonight against the Bucks. Not Milwaukee. They could. They probably can. Don't get me wrong. I think they can. Look, I love the Lakers. That's my team. I love LeBron. I love what AD's doing. D'Lo and all those boys, Reeves and Dinwiddie and Rui, and all those boys, that could get the job done. But I want to see how they play tonight against them. Now, they got the Pacers again, and I think they got them in Indy. LeBron loves to play in Indy. He shows out in Indy. We'll see what happens when we play them in there. Now, there's games against teams that the Lakers can beat. Memphis is one. There's no way in the world that Memphis should beat the Lakers. The Lakers should go in there and stomp them. Okay? Some bottom teams, Washington. I think they play the Wizards again. There's no way they should lose to Washington. But the thing about it is Washington beat Chicago last night. And I don't know what's going on with the Bulls. The Bulls are trying to get into the play-in, and they lose a game like that to a team that's not going anywhere. They're tanking. The Wizards are tanking because the Wizards are expected to get a high draft pick in the lottery, as well as Memphis. Without Ja Morant, it's over with for them this year. So the Lakers got 4. They could go 4-2 in this road trip, or they can go 3-3. I hope they don't go 3-3. I hope they go 4-2, because with them winning, they could climb up the ladder. The Warriors play the Heat tonight. I think the Warriors are going to win that game tonight. I think Steph Curry and them are going to be ready to play against those boys. They had a terrible game against Minnesota, and they had a terrible game against the Pacers. I'm here to tell you, right now, Steph Curry and them is looking at this thing and they're saying, if we can only get into the play-in, if the Warriors get in the play-in and do what they need to do, man, it is going to be hard to get them out of the playoffs. Once the Warriors get in that thing, it's over. They're going to make some noise. They're not going to win a championship, but they're going to make some noise. We'll see what happens as next month comes in and the playoffs are on the hunt. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say this. The women's podcast for the Women's Month will be taking place one day this week. I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow. It should be tomorrow. Lord say the same. I'm going to try to do it tomorrow if I can on Wednesday. If not, it'll possibly be Thursday. AEW comes on tomorrow. We'll see what happens now, the fallout of what happened last week on Dynamite with Edge becoming the TNT champion, and Okada becoming the AEW Continental Classic champion as well. But let's get to the WWE, folks. Wow, what a great show last night. One of the best Raws in the night. Judgment Day showed their you-know-whats against all the tag teams that are going to be in that turmoil with them in that ladder match. Very interesting to see what happens. They're still waiting on one team. I think the Street Profits will win that match Friday and become that last team that's going to be in that ladder match for the tag team titles. The Awesome Truth is really, really game to win the tag team titles, either them or DIY. I would love to see Truth and Miz have one more run, in the sunlight. Great matches. Candice LeRae against Ivy Nile. Candice LeRae is starting to be. It's now a heel, and I think what's going to happen is she's going to jump on Indy, and they're going to start fighting against each other. That's what's going to possibly happen. I see it already because they're making her a heel, Candice LeRae a heel, to where they're going to start taking her serious. I think you take her serious, and I think you start putting her in title matches and things like that. She would make a great mid-card if they had a WWE mid-card title, which I'm hoping that they're thinking of. If I'm Triple H, if I'm Nick Khan, if I'm the final boss, Rock Johnson, if I'm them, I need to be thinking about that, trying to make a mid-card title for the women's. Who would love to see a women's Intercontinental champion? Who would love to see a women's U.S. champion? That's what you need to build. You need to figure out what kind of mid-card title you can get these girls on both shows. And NXT, bring back the women's tag team titles. Because you got all those women on there and they're not going to become the champion. But you could put them in a tag team as the women's tag team champions. Follow the 2K24 game. Look at the community communications, the custom communities, however you say it. When you go on the online and look at the belts that they make that are so, the creators of these titles they are so authentic with what they do. Why not take an idea from what you see on there? Because I'm quite sure you see what it is, because your kids are playing this game and your kids have the community creations and they see it. Why don't you take an idea from that and see if you can make a women's mid-card title for these girls as well as NXT? But that's on another note. Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch went at it. It was about time they started, touching down and started, trying to put the heat on each other. Gunther cost Sami Zayn a match against Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed beat Sami Zayn. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you what's going to happen. There's two things that's going to happen in this story. And I want to be wrong about one, but I'm for sure right about one. I do believe that Sami Zayn is going to be the one to beat Gunther for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. And I'm going to tell you why I'm saying this. And I want people to understand, why am I saying that this is going to happen? Here's one reason. Anytime the superstar is getting that much heat on them, is getting beat up like that and gooned and things and jobbed like that, when WrestleMania comes around, they usually win their match. Prime example. Let me get a sip of this soda. Prime example. I'll give you a prime example of what I'm about to say. Go back to Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon versus KO and Sammy at WrestleMania in New Orleans. I think it was 4 years ago, something like that. 2018, 6. Let's go with that. Let's say about six years ago. Daniel Bryan had just unretired from wrestling. Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon were both general managers of SmackDown. They were getting beat up each week by Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Everybody knew at WrestleMania he was going to win. And Daniel Bryan and Shane won that match. They won that tag match at WrestleMania. And I'm going to talk about the other situation in a minute. Look at what's going on with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn getting kicked by Drew McIntyre. He won the gauntlet to have the match against Gunther. I told people this, and me and Fadeaway talked about this a while back. After they took Jey Uso out of the Intercontinental title hunt, which, by the way, folks, let me say this too. That night that they had that match with Jey Uso versus Gunther, Jey Uso was booked to win the Intercontinental Championship that night. They changed it during the start of Monday Night Raw because they wanted Jey Uso to go up against Jimmy at WrestleMania. And if they would have stuck with the plan with him, then Gunther was going to be butt out of a match, which means he probably was just going to have a regular match, but he was not going to become. It wasn't going to be. It probably wouldn't have been for the Intercontinental title. They're probably going to have Jimmy and Jay fighting for the Intercontinental title at Mania. But they didn't do that because they want Jimmy and Jay to have a regular match. Or it could be a street fight or something like that. I was hearing it was supposed to be a street fight, but I don't know if they're going to. WrestleMania is not here yet, so I don't know what's going to happen yet. It should be a street fight between both Usos to see who can be the better man, which I think in my book, and I'll have my prediction on these matches when WrestleMania comes around, which is coming around in the next couple of weeks. But I'll have my prediction on who's going to win and who's going to lose these matches. But so Sami Zayn, and speaking of Sami Zayn, let me get back to what I was saying. I said that when he was talking about not having a title match or not having anything at WrestleMania, and when I saw Imperium walk by him, I said, yep, there's your WrestleMania match right there. It's going to be Sami Zayn versus Gunther. Now, the first scenario I said, there's two scenarios. I said that Sami Zayn is going to beat Gunther to become the Intercontinental Champion. He's going to break the undefeated streak. He's going to be the first person to beat him. That's my thing. Second, this could possibly happen, but I'm hoping that it doesn't happen. He loses to Gunther because of Chad Gable. Because believe it or not, if Sammy wins the Intercontinental title, his first defense is going to be against Chad Gable or Gunther, because they're probably going to have Gunther have a rematch for the title, and he's going to lose again, and then he goes on to win Money in the Bank, because there's no doubt about it, they're priming Gunther up for a main event run. Can you imagine Gunther versus Roman Reigns? That match is going to happen later on in I don't care what anybody tells you. Gunther's going to fight Roman Reigns later on in his career. It may be next year or it might be the year before, the year after that. But I think Gunther and Roman Reigns are going to toss hats soon. Just as well as Gunther's going to toss hats with Seth Rollins. That's going to be another match. You're going to see all these matches come. Because Gunther, he has to have he cannot have not the United States title, excuse me. He cannot have the Intercontinental title on him, and he does not, and try to go for the world title. They're not going to do Ultimate Warrior situation. They could, but I don't think that's going to happen. Or Bill Goldberg situation. It could, but I don't think it's going to happen. Because one thing about it, you're going to have to lose the lesser belt that you have. When Keith Lee won the NXT title and was still the North American title, they automatically took the belt off Keith Lee, and they did take the belt off. They took the North American title off of Keith Lee and put a tournament up for it. Some people get blessed to where they keep both belts and defend them, and some just lose one and keep the main title. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm here to tell you guys, I think Sami Zayn is going to beat Gunther at WrestleMania. What else can I talk about? Oh, let's just get on to the nitty gritty. Well, let's get to the first part. Jey Uso against Shinsuke Nakamura. Crowd, how they get up for Jey Uso, man. Day one, it's just me, Uso, that all that there, and with the hands and everything. He's pumping the crowd up and everything. He went up against Shinsuke Nakamura, a very disappointing. Shinsuke Nakamura is something serious in the business. But Shinsuke Nakamura, he's not going to have a match at Mania. He's probably going to be back in the Andre the Giant Memorial tournament. It's a shame that Shinsuke's not going to have a match at Mania. Bronson Reed's not going to have a match at Mania. Chad Gable probably not going to have a match at Mania, even though I thought they were going to have a three-way for the match. I don't think Bobby and Killer Cross is going to have a match at Mania. You know, this will be the second year in a row they've jobbed Bobby Lashley out of a WrestleMania match. Come on, man. He's one of the biggest stars you have in the business, and you're doing this to him? Come on, this is not what's up. But also, with that being said, it's a shame, but Shinsuke Nakamura is not going to be having a WrestleMania match. He probably be in the Andre the Giant Memorial Tournament, Battle Royal, excuse me. They're probably all participating in that. And I think if who's going to win? Bobby's probably not going to win this year, but I think you go with either Killer Cross or Chad Gable to win. Who knows? Find that out next week on SmackDown, because I'm quite sure it's going to be on SmackDown next week along with the Hall of Fame induction that comes on right after SmackDown. But let's talk about this here. Jey Uso beats Shinsuke, but Jimmy and Solo were already talking to him and, you know, looking at him crazy during his pre-interview before he went out to his match. Okay, so the match is over. In comes Solo. Then you got Seth and Cody comes out there. Now, I was wondering why this match stopped so early. So what happens is you go to the backstage, and I knew in the back of my mind, I said, man, Rock is here. Rock is here. Rock ain't going nowhere. It was either Rock or Roman Reigns that was going to touch Cody Rhodes. And come to find out it was The Rock. Cody was in a fight with Solo, and next thing you know, Rock got him. And Rock beat the living you-know-what out of Cody, man. Smeared blood on his belt. Kept talking about it. Rock kept talking about his Mama Rhodes, all this stuff. Man, look. I had not seen Rock get physical like that in years, where Rock would sit there and attack somebody. This is the first time Rock's done this in a while. And don't get me wrong, the story that they got going on here is absolutely phenomenal, man. Pun intended, AJ Styles. Shout out to AJ Styles. Phenomenal. But I'm telling you, it is a phenomenal situation to see this. To see that happen. Because guess what's going to happen, folks? Cody's going to finish his story at this year's WrestleMania. There ain't no way in the world that Roman Reigns is going to beat Cody Rhodes twice at WrestleMania back to back for the title. It cannot happen. If this happens, they're going to riot. WWE fans, Universe fans are going to riot at the pay-per-view in Philly. Because it's time for Roman to lose. And the best place to do it is at WrestleMania. And you guys wonder why I'm saying that. Let me tell you why I'm saying that. Go back to when Hulk Hogan was the champion. Hogan had been winning titles, had won the title. He didn't wrestle. WrestleMania 1 was in 1985, if I'm not mistaken. Hogan didn't defend the title that year. He was in a tag match with Mr. T, where he took on Roddy Piper, bless his soul, and Cowboy Bob Orton. And Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. They all were in that match. I think it was Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper against Hogan and Mr. T, if I'm not mistaken. Because Roddy Piper had a beef with Mr. T on camera as well as off camera. And he didn't like Mr. T that much. That was the first WrestleMania. WrestleMania 2, Hogan defended the title against King Kong Bundy at WrestleMania 2. He was able to win that. I think it was like a steel cage or something. I can't remember the match. But I know that Hogan beat him. That was 2 years as the champion in WWE. The third year, which was WrestleMania 3, of course, where he slammed, the body slam heard across the world, where he beat Andre the Giant, bless his soul, for the world title, where he kept the world title. But after that, a few weeks after that, he lost the title to Andre the Giant, who gave the title to the $1 Million Man. And then after that, they relinquished the title. And at that WrestleMania, Randy Savage had became the world champion. Now, why am I saying that? I'll tell you why I'm saying that. Because Hogan had been champion for over 4 years. The same way Roman Reigns has. Hogan lost that title, didn't lose that title at WrestleMania until he fought the Ultimate Warrior, got the title back from Savage at WrestleMania 5, had won the title from Savage at WrestleMania 5, and lost the title to the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6, which means Hogan had a whole nother year as the champion. You see what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying now. You understand why I'm saying this. Roman Reigns, if he's going to lose, he's got to lose on the biggest stage, and that's WrestleMania. And I still believe that Rock is going to be the one that helps Cody win the title. Because now Roman Reigns he's up there. He does not need the title now to be back up there. Do I think he'll win the title again? He probably will. He probably will be the undisputed champion again, and he'll probably have like a little mini run with it. Or him and Solo could tag up and become the tag team champions. But the problem is this. When Roman Reigns wins or loses, which I think he's going to lose, he is not going to show up for a while. You may not see Roman Reigns again until SummerSlam, where a big match is going to take place at SummerSlam. And everybody thought it was going to be Rock versus Roman at SummerSlam. It's not going to happen because Rock is going to be still filming a movie. Now, do we all get what we want? I think we get a rematch between Cody and Roman at SummerSlam if Cody wins the title at WrestleMania, which I think he will. I think that's a match you go with at SummerSlam, which is going to be in Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken. Cleveland, Ohio, home of LeBron and Johnny Gargano and Miz. You know, and that would make a great, excellent card match. That match there and the other match. CM Punk was on Raw last night. CM Punk is going to be the guest commentator at Mania when Drew McIntyre challenges Seth freaking Rollins for the World Heavyweight title, which I still think to myself is Seth Rollins is going to lose the world title at Mania because it's time for Drew McIntyre to get his story across, win the world title in front of live audience. The last time, it's been 4 years since he's been champion. You see what I'm saying? So he's been chasing it for the last 3 years. Now he has last 3 years, excuse me. And so now he has an opportunity to challenge for the title and win the title that he never lost in front of the crowd. It's that simple. I do believe Drew McIntyre will become the champion. That's just my theory. That would be and that would free Seth Rollins up to have the match that everybody wants to see at SummerSlam. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins in a one-on-one match. No title has to be on the line for that match, folks, unless Seth Rollins wins the title back from Drew McIntyre and they have that match anyway. Because I think that you can go with Drew versus CM Punk, and you could also go with Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, and you can make it a triple threat for the World Heavyweight title. Damian Priest still has not cashed in. He may cash in Saturday, that Saturday night at WrestleMania, folks. I think he's going to cash in. He's going to lose. What I would love to see him do is take that briefcase and cash in to win the Intercontinental title. That's just my thought about it. Or cash in and win the United States title again and go to SmackDown. Those are just some situations, some scenarios that I see that could happen. I'm a game head when it comes down to planning stuff like this. But I'm seeing what I see on TV each week. But, with that being said, I'm just telling you guys, the final boss, Rock, absolutely phenomenal, man. Rock and Roman Reigns coming to Raw next week. It's going to be interesting to see because they're going to come there and they're going to get into it with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins and Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso. They're going to get into it. Solo does not even have a match. I wish that they could have made a match between Cena and Solo, but Cena can't wrestle right now because Cena's filming movies or whatever, and he can't get hurt in the ring. No physical activity. And with that being said, it's good to see the moving pieces going forth in WWE as well as in the game of basketball, college basketball, NBA as well. Tonight is NXT. I know that Shawn Spears goes up against Dijak. We're going to find out more about Liv Valkyrie and Roxanne Perez as they do battle for the NXT Women's title. Also, the Wolf Dogs take on Alpha Academy tonight, which is Otis and Akira Tozawa, which is going to be interesting to see what happens with that because the Wolf Dogs are going to win that match. And then you're going to see what the OC is going to do and the other teams that are going to be trying to take the belts off of the Wolf Dogs. The North American champ, Obi, man, he's something serious, man. Obi's something serious, bro. I want to see what he's got lined up for tonight as well. Yeah, and also not Stacks. Why I keep saying Stacks, but Tony D and Dragunov, their rivalry also as well. We'll see what happens with them as well tonight on NXT. And, of course, Mello and Trick. We're going to see what happens with those two as they, try to finish out their story, which is getting close to Stand and Deliver as well, because Stand and Deliver is on the same day that WrestleMania Night 1 is. So we'll see what happens with all that, folks, as we get closer and closer to WrestleMania, man. Baby, WrestleMania is like the NBA Finals, the Super Bowl, the World Series, the U.S. Open, the Wimbledon, man, things like that, It's there, man. WrestleMania is there, and it's 2 nights now, so, it's fun. If it ever comes back to New Orleans, I'm going to try to go as long as the Lord let me make it. I'm going to try to go back to that, man. I want to see WrestleMania. I've never been to one, but I want to see that. So with that being said, God bless you. God keep you. Tomorrow, I will have some, you know what? I'm a yield on this, and I'm going to start back up, and I'm going to read to you guys something that's very inspirational right now. This is what a lot of people need to know at this present moment, especially when you're down and you feel like you done lost somebody close to you or whatever. Just always remember who God is to you. I'm going to yield in a minute. I'm going to be back on shortly.